Okay, so yeah, I wanted to do a follow-up video on the circuit board I built and been testing, and yeah, I did something a bit silly actually, and I kind of realised it after the fact because I'll tell you why. Well, if you remember when I was originally designing this circuit board, um, the whole idea was that these Q1 down here and Q2 would act as a latching system so that it would flip-flop, and it would my input trigger would turn this latching circuit on, and I'd have a soft starter circuit on here as well. Now what happened was I designed this circuit before I actually decided I needed something to disable the soft starter circuit, which was the DN2540, I think it is. So I was yesterday to some friends. I was calling myself stupid. I was saying I'm such a dumbass, blah blah blah. But in retrospect, actually, the DN2540 came in later because I needed something to turn off the soft starter once the main latching system was working. So it was after the fact, really, that I put the DN2540 in. And then I looked at that and I realised I'm such a dumbass, because the DN2540, which is this little transistor down here, basically does everything that my entire circuit does. So it is a latch in itself. I mean, the only problem is when I built this, I didn't go and read the effing manual. So because I didn't read the sodding manual, I kind of got my signals back to front. Because I'll tell you what the problem is. I have buzzed. Shit, everything's falling over down there. Hang on a minute. What the heck? I don't believe it. This is nuts. I don't get it. Alright, that'll do. Right, so where are we? I've got a poltergeist. I've got a poltergeist or something. Anyway, no worries. So, as I was saying, now the DN2540, I was sending positive signals into the gate to basically disable it. Well, back to front, because it requires a negative pulse. A negative going pulse. I'm using this capacitor to hold the voltage stable on the gate, and so it required a negative pulse to turn it off, and I was sending positive pulses instead, which is back to front. So yeah, it's easy to make that mistake, but I did design the circuit first, you see. The rest of the circuit was designed prior to putting this thing in. I thought, oh, this will work. And I didn't read the effing manual. So anyway, I've been thinking about this, and okay, my circuit does work. It does work, and I swapped the resistor out over here. I actually put a smaller, I put a 10k in there because it works better than with that. And looking at this, and it's quite big really, the board, and I'm thinking, yeah, when you look at the size of the board compared to my device, it's pretty big really. And so I decided I'm going to redesign the whole thing, but I'm going to design it around the DN2540 instead of yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the DN2540 as the main centerpiece of the circuit, so that it basically does the switching, and instead of using these, so using that thing, that transistor, and that transistor, and all, there's basically, well, yeah, there's actually 4 of these, including the DN240 on here, and there's plus the BC109C. So if I can just make this a lot smaller, I've got my opto isolators, and I'm thinking, well, do I really need them? Because if I'm using a higher gain input, I can use basically an audio signal input. I can use an audio signal input. which will be very low ripple. It won't have much interference. Yeah. So anyway, I just thought I'd give you an update on what's happening. Because I've ordered some cable, I've actually ordered some telephone cable which will do the job for the signals and the coils, because I was trying to think, it's going to be such a mess with wires stringing out everywhere. I mean 6 wires, I mean there's 4 wires for the input trigger coils, and then I've got 2 wires for the output which go in this socket here, and that's the power input, so it's actually 6 wires altogether. And I was trying to think of tidying this up a bit so it won't be so clumsy or messy. So I thought, well, telephone wire is probably the best way to go, because it's all in one. Yeah, it'll be like it'll be a wiring loom basically, inside one sheath. So it'll save me messing about with wires stringing everywhere. Anyway, so just a little update. I'm sorry about the mess, because I went and put some glue on there to hold the socket so it wouldn't flop about every time I plug things in and unplug things, and I used a bit of plastic stuff, cement stuff I made using acetone and polyABS plastic, so it's got a bit messy now, and the glue's kind of gone through the paper, which is why it looks a bit funny. But anyway, yeah, so it does work, it's just a little bit overkill. It's a little bit yeah, I got my etching much better. I mean, the isolation gaps between the tracks and the ground plane are much bigger. They're about 0.8 millimeters now. But yeah. Anyway, so I'm basically going to be spending the next few days redesigning the circuit. Trying to make it tidy. I'm not going to scrap anything on it. I'm going to recycle everything that's on this board. I'll just strip it down when I'm ready. I'll leave it built for now, because yeah, it still works. I can use it to test when I've got my wire arrive. I can still use this board to try it out. I can still test it out and everything. So I thought, well, I'm not going to scrap it yet. I'll start working on a newer board, and then we can basically try this out anyway. But it's just, I want to make it something a bit smaller. So that's where we are at the moment. Yeah, I'm going to have to sort my charger out. My charger, which was charging up my battery, just fell off the thing. This is weird. I don't get it. I don't understand it, because how the hell did it fall? There's no wind. We didn't have an earthquake. And my charger fell over. My my technology literally just fell off, disconnected itself. The connections all disconnected themselves. This is really strange. Even my multi-balance charge socket unplugged itself. Everything did. And it started beeping at me. That is so weird. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for now.